Hi everyone, it's Jen from Mind's Eye, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the holistic review, the psychic medium reading about the holistic community with a W. Now, this is the community for like alternative modalities of healing, Reiki, naturopathy, or anything like that. Right now, we're watching the White House and we're watching RFK Jr. They're talking about ending the war on saturated fat, new dietary guidelines. They're talking about more CDC recommendations on the actual requirements to uh, like uh, CDC like I can't even like get it out. It really is like CDC guidelines about like the vaccines. So like what is actually going on? What is going on? What is going on? So basically, on the catch up of this, like a lot of changes happened. So we did have legislature signed and a bill passed about medical marijuana, about the classification of medical marijuana of a scheduled like 1, 2, 3, 4 as it is as narcotic. So when you actually look at it, you have to say like me as a visiting nurse, as a an LPN, so they have it on a schedule 4, but they're gonna do it on a schedule 1. Like then you would actually need like a hard prescription. That's what I'm saying. I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong. And like, what's gonna go on with these dispensaries? So when I see this and I see this 5 of Wands, there's a type of difficulty about like something that is like what we would call like a containment issue. Like the containment issue is like fentanyl. It's about other narcotics. It's about like all these things. So as they're talking about Venezuela, do you see how like all these current events are like truly affecting the community on how like our new ways of regulating of what we have to do to get like other ways other than like prescriptions and seeing the doctor constantly to get what we need for relief. So when I see it, I actually have to say, I can foresee even for like Reiki masters and massage and chiropractic and anything that nature down to like spiritual work that the CDC, the DPH, and the FDA are going to look at this and make sure everything is done safely. So let's see it again. What else do we need to know about this? There's something about sitting honorably. There's something about sitting everything that you need to do. There's something about happiness when it comes to the holistic community because it really was like a breakthrough. It may not have been exactly what we needed or wanted, they would say, but in reality, it was being recognized that we usually get like patients and clients first. And when we see it, it is to lessen the burden and you work together. And that was really seen when I was working on hospice. It was having Reiki masters come in and prior to surgeries or anything that on palliative care and to help them calm down and just like getting rid of negative energy that was like in the room and having a perspective viewpoint that was more positive and more like patient oriented. So when I see it and I see this Knight of Swords come in reverse, it means there was a type of like a slow flow through. And a slow flow through means that like it came on through and then it like landed in front of whoever it needed. And when you see this like 7 of Swords in reverse, like you couldn't actually take it back. Like it was on the table and they had to review it. Now when I look at it and I see this like Page of Cups in reverse, I actually can't even like really do much about it other than this 7 of Pentacles. It's well manifested. Like you actually can't like take records. It's not exactly what you wanted or thought, but it's legal. You see what I'm saying? So where is the proof on that? So it may look hostile. It might look hostage. It might look deceitful. You might actually have to look at this and go, we might have to do a done on this. that you actually can't believe it. When I look at this, I see soul gifts and training. It's time to step up. And then Orion energy, polarity, soul growth, conflict. I see a lot more people actually like becoming into the holistic community, like waiting and ready and taking classes and like getting their getting their certifications. So when I see this and I go, I couldn't even believe it, like on how hard it works. Because when I see this and I see the soul memories and gifts, and you've done this before, I feel like they're so aligned and attuned. Even like other practitioners who hold their MPI numbers and such licensures, they're actually sitting and they're relaxed and they're clear and they're calm and they're coming towards their patients. And the holistic community with an H, which is like the FDA, the CDC, and all of that, because we're talking about bird flu, like a little bit more on how to handle these high-end viruses. Now, when I see this, I see Andromedan energy, adventure. Say yes, like it's a huge change. It's a huge flip. Like all of a sudden, like, well, I've been a CNA or something like that, and I decided I'm going to sit down, I'm going to relax, and this is my retirement job. And so then you look at it and you see energetic serenity, absorbing what is not yours. You go, this is actually like perfect, perfect, because they're calm and they're clear, and people can sit and relax with them and talk. And that's what we wanted in the communities is places where we could sit, and it works. So, but the question on the table is, how do you incorporate insurance and other like money follows the person into these type of establishments of holistic healing and wellness centers? Let's see what I'm seeing right now. It would literally have to be something like a payer source. You would have to see what your insurance allows you based on the incident as it came to you. So when you see it and you see none of this matters, zoom out common ground, you wouldn't believe how much common ground that like the hospitals have with these practitioners now. Now when you see it, it says it's happening, hold the vision. This is what was envisioned on what is true and what is not. So when I see this and I see surrender holding the opposites, extreme of life, and you see this and you see Mars energy, anger, conflict, softening of love, that is because of conjunction and conjuncture. There's multiple planetary energies and star energies, not so much moon energies. And we just got out of the super wolf full moon. Like there's something about like hard press on and hard press on and through where you just can't maybe see it clearly, but it's right in front of you on how they're acting. It really is not an illusion. So, or like any type of this matter. I see this artist manifestation, creative accountability. Yeah, there's something about like these practitioners here in the holistic community that actually create something. Even like going into a tea shop, you're sitting down and you're just chit chatting and you're sipping tea, and like it helps you. What is the nutrient benefits of tea? Tea actually like helps you like settle down and like helps you like get out the negative energy, but it like gently cleanses you on the way that it should be. Now, when I see this here, and you look at the nutrients in it and like the ingredients, depending on how it's brewed, it could be Earl Grey or anything of that matter. You actually look in and you see rock bottom, surrender to the alchemy of life. Absolutely. When you start actually aligning yourself, attuning yourself, and making huge changes on what your soul wants you to do, and that is where holistic community is winning with others, is that your soul already knows what your body needs. It's your soul who commands the body. So when you see it and you see devotion and potency and make your life a moving prayer, it literally goes and it shows in doctors' offices on how adamant patients are. Like, I know what I need because I can feel it, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So when I said it and I see, the pulse of the mother, slow down, time and nature, absolutely is sitting alone and reflecting and like what's real and what is not. Now, when I look at this and I say inner child, tenderness, innocent, rare gifts, absolutely, absolutely. Sometimes a lot of these things stem from like childhood, so from playing to even like bumping your knee or skinning your knee, and then all of a sudden like something comes out. It makes you like shock value of like a wake up when you do fall as a kid. So when that happens and you go right through it, and you're like, I mean, I right here. There really is energetic force that actually like propels and like pulled you on forward to sit where you needed. So what else is on the horizon for the holistic community other than, the huge like I wouldn't say like cracking down on dietary guidelines. I feel like Dr. Mehmet Oz and the others are trying to really show that it's not a cut or a conflict or any of that matter. It really is more on how like it's all presented forward to people. So I'd have to say verbiage and lingo and all of it need to actually come out to where we need to just stop rhetoric. So, they might not be crunchy or hippie, but maybe they lived through it and they know that it works. So when you see it and you see stop, embrace, winter, cosmic, great cosmic moon, you're gonna have a void, more meanings of one when you actually start on that path a little bit. And it's talking about your soul plan, the fated life, and the destiny life. That's what it really wants you to know through these cards right now. Okay, so when you see this and you see the Hierophant and you see like source and dictative, absolutely to like written paper, to the wheel, like you can't actually complete a cycle. And that was one of the things that was really hard about maybe within the last year and a half when we started these conversations. We could not actually get it. So here we are, we have independent businesses, we have our own shops and such like that. And we couldn't get leeway. Like we get started and we already know cold and flu season, so we already knew exactly what ingredients to cook everything and such of that matter, to keep ourselves safe in universal precautions. And as we go through it, all of a sudden you're like, I just like all of a sudden it tanks. Like, how come it's always tanking in the winter? You should be a little bit more like more open and like in universal precautions. So when you say universal precautions, they can come into the shop and they can come in, but what you should be doing is actually like studying and like what is actually going on with that individual so you can report. So when I see it and I see the Page of Wands, you go, you can't even believe it. Like it's just like a fly by night, and it does everything. When I see this and I see the Five of Cups, it is disappointment, and it causes a pause. And then you see this like the Sun in reverse. It's something really unhappy about these pauses. They really don't like this. When I see this and I see this Nine of Cups to the King of Wands, it's highly discontented, dishonorable. So when you have it in your own mind to do it in your own way, and then you complete your own cycle and not on the greater good of the community, because that is what you really should do, and you're like your oath on. That's where the universe is saying is like money and monetary balance to actual physical balance, to where we have to like test your balance with your hearing. You couldn't even believe it. When you look at this and you see the Six of Swords in reverse, there's like turbulent and force. Turbulent and force. So a discontented family, always know that like community is like a family. You wouldn't believe how much they're like alike. That is like the wealth of them, and wealth for them is like how they sit in their true selves. Okay. All right, there's something that's going to come in really, really quick. There's something of, it's a little bit of like a mediumship. There's something of like a past life in the 1800s, about a little boy, and he's coming in, or something about like Nebraska, Arkansas, something about Oregon, something about the Oregon Trail, about holistic, about community approach, something about like a known source, something about like visual disturbance of known source, something about like green leaf and like green leaf tea, where you actually can't even do. So then like all of a sudden like you can't do it in, you can't like and then all of a sudden, oh, I don't know why we have five spellings of do. So then when you actually see it, and he's showing me like dirt road, and he's showing me tree, he's showing me like stone wall. You actually can't like be on your like own. You can't even like be on your own. So there's something I'm watching over on like I'm seeing a little bit of like a CBD and the THC and the medical marijuana that you actually have to watch these individuals. Like, do you see? Like, it's almost like highly controlled. I mean, it could take 2 to 4 years. It could take 24 years. It could be anything. It's all based on like patient responses and patient results and all of that. All right, so it really is kind of like locked up about like this like passion about like something of like sustenance, and like we're going back to the mineral water, the mineral deal. Baker J mentioned something of mathematical approach, something about like a song of your soul, something that sings like that song like that sings my soul, about how great thou art. So when I look at it and I go to this, let's go to literary, which is Oracle. Something about bravery and like grotesque humor. I feel like there was a degree of censorship also in the holistic community. Everyone was having censorship. There was something like a rebellion, like they didn't get what they wanted. Normal, like behavioral health, like cognitive health. It was like everything. When you see this, and you go peacock, and you go white dress, keeping up with appearances, society, divine splendor, and craving. They all have inhibitions, and they have all wants and needs. And when they do this, like you just actually can't even do your own end because you got to sit and you got to watch. So it's like ancient past lore, like chicken, like gold egg. You go just go down, and like you can visit any of the ethnicities and heritage and culture and diversity in the communities, and you're gonna sit and actually what they do as soon as they see like a tick up of a kick up, and in the working of the togetherness of the countries, and that's what makes America diversified. And so when they're all on the same page, they're gonna like no, it's time to do your own. And when you go, that's where like the rebellion went and like put people in their place. Historically, they've done this. It really is nothing new. It's so old time past that you actually have to go, yeah, it's time. We have to do this. When you see this eye and you see like grotesque humor, again, something about seeing it up and then it becomes mysterious. Absolutely. You would be surprised on how communicative and also how like nasty it ran through the community in the last 4 years of just criminal acts. So that's why they're saying like holistic, like, you know, a lot of these patients are burnt out to the max on antibiotics, on steroids, on everything that we can give to them that they can physically tolerate. Like we have to try something new. So that's where, you know, they're really working hard. So we have agriculture. Why is it big on agriculture? At least for me, from what I'm seeing, the last time when I see as a psychic that they were looking at Epstein, it was about agriculture. It really was hard. So we're really looking at the grocery stores because that was a huge complaint in the communities. It was the groceries, it was the expiration dates. The expiration date says this, but it only lasts 3 days. So when you see this and you see chronic health, like you have to intuitively and like trust your intuition and where it leads you before it makes sense. It goes to where's the fraud, and then you go see all of this and all of these big names like start coming out, and then court cases start coming out and legal cases being readdressed again in the court. So that is where like the resolution of conflict and the absolute love actually comes in, because then people actually feel safe, or maybe they are like coming to their senses after an incident. And when you look at this and you go, it like soul driven. All you need to know is soul driven. When I look at this and I see lantern, and I actually see like devotion and a story, you still got to pick it apart. So I do see a settling down, like it's really amped up. Like I said, like 2026 was coming in like fire for 6 months. And when it came in as fire, you'd be surprised how much it settles down. And that's really all you need to know. So again, it's talking about, society and appearances. Anything else? Let's look at the poplar wood runes. What do we need to know for the holistic community? Something of a gift coming, something of power. This gift has power. It has strength far up above. When it says this, something was like born, like this idea of new, a new and renewal. Something about transcendence. When you see this, it is like luck. So I'm looking at like constellations, and I'm looking at luck, and it really has to do with something with Sagittarius. When you see this and you see havoc, and you see like like something about day. When I see DAE, I literally will actually go to like intuitively, instinctively, like walk to it. The incident like evolving and revolving about day. Day is a Gaelic word of like a go to go about children. So then all of a sudden you see this right on the news, you can't even make it up. Guidelines will impact school meals. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's something about children, something about like something new about everything. We see this. What were our children showing us of what we needed to know? That we have to have these changes like right now. Something about trolling, something about defense, something about living, something like a hold on, like I'm seeing the paper, somebody in mediumship is showing me they're holding the paper and it's like stone. And it irritated parents to no end. Guidelines. This is like almost like financial, like I'm hearing like financial guidelines and clairaudience. Clairgaudience. I'm seeing like how they like sanitize in the school. I'm checking like dirty feet. Like, why would I be checking my children for dirty feet if they wear their shoes all day at school? Warrior. You're talking about a lot of warriors lately. Psychics are saying it. We see this at night. Something about a sword. When you see this, you see joy. And then wealth. There's something about a wealth and joy. They were talking about EBT snap. You're talking about, why was this a little bit misogyny? I feel like some criminals actually did some nasty things that were toxic masculinity. And when this happened, women do hold a lot of the EBT snap. I have to say it was a dig on women, but I'm also seeing right now a dig on men. It is a little bit of what we would call a riff, which means an uproar about like instinct and like who holds the most like instinct and intuition to where they hold the boat and all of it. And that's all that like it really wants us to know. So you can almost like see where it will be going through like the next week on where it needs to be, because you can't even like see it coming whatsoever. All of a sudden you're like, why is that coming out in the news? I didn't hear or see that. And that's all you need to know. So with that being said, that's all we have to say for today. Leave a like, a comment, a share. It's greatly appreciated, and we'll talk to you soon.